My name is Maria. I am 75 years old. I live alone in a small house. Every morning, I drink tea and sit by the window. I watch the birds. I listen to the wind. My life is quiet now. But it was not always like this. I was born in a small village. My family was poor. We had no school for girls. My brothers went to school. I stayed home. I cleaned. I cooked. I watched them read. I listened from behind the door. One day, I said to my father, "Can I go to school?" He looked at me. He said, "No, Maria. Girls do not need school." My heart sank. But I did not forget. I looked at my brother's books when no one was watching. When he was writing his lessons, I repeated the words in my mind. Whenever I found a good chance, I wrote them down. In this way, I learned how to read and write. When I turned 16, my father said, "It is time to marry." I was young. I had big dreams. I had hope. But life had other plans. I cried, but I said nothing. I married a man from another village. He had a farm shop, and I worked there. For a few hours every day. I cleaned the house. I cooked the food. We had one daughter. Her name is Lily. Lily was a happy child. She liked to dance and sing. She asked many questions. She said, "Mama, why is the sky blue? Why does rain fall from the sky? Where does the rainwater go?" I was always thinking about how to answer her questions. I wanted Lily to learn. I wanted her to go to school. I wanted her to be free. So I worked hard. I saved every coin. Life was not easy. There was always work. No time to rest. But inside me, a dream still lived. I wanted to learn. At night, when Lily slept, I looked at her books. I opened a history book. I looked at the letters. I whispered the words. It was hard. But I tried. I asked my daughter, "What does this word mean?" She laughed, "Mama, this is for school." I said, "Teach me, please." She showed me one word. Then another. I wrote them in a notebook. I copied them every day. My husband saw me one day. He said, "Why are you wasting time?" I said, "I want to learn. I have always loved learning new things. It makes me feel alive." He shook his head. But I did not stop. When the shop was quiet, I watched how he counted money. I watched how he counted money. I watched how he wrote prices. One day, I said, "Teach me to count." He said, "You will make mistakes." I said, "Then I will learn from my mistakes." He laughed. But he gave me a chance. I learned to count. I learned to write numbers. I helped in the shop. I kept a notebook. I wrote what we sold. Soon, I could read the labels. I could check the bills. At night, I read geography books. I learned about rivers and mountains. I read about countries I would never see. My daughter asked, "Mama, why do you like these books?" I said, "Because I am free when I read." People in the village said, "She is too old to study." They said, "She should cook, not read." But I kept reading. In the morning. In the evening. Whenever I was free, I picked up a book. Years passed. Lily grew up. She studied hard. She got a scholarship to a big university. She said, "Mama, I want to study science." I said, "Go, my daughter. Be strong." She left home. I stood at the door and watched her walk away. My heart felt both proud and empty. The house was quiet without her. I waited for letters. I could write letters to my daughter. I could read her letters, and I felt proud of myself. At first, she visited us often. Her letters were full of love and stories from her new life. But as time passed, everything changed. She stopped visiting so much. The letters came less often, and sometimes, weeks went by with no word from her. I missed her deeply, but I kept hoping. I looked at her photos. I smiled. I cried. I told myself, she is busy. She is learning. But deep inside, I missed her voice. I missed her laugh. 1 year, no letter came. 1 year, no phone call. I thought, maybe she forgot me. I did not blame her. She had a new life. I was just an old woman in a small town. Then one morning, I heard the sound of the postman. He gave me a letter. My hands shook. I opened it slowly. It was from Lily. She lived in a big city now. She worked at a university. She wrote, "Mama, I want you to come visit me." I read her words again and again. She wanted me to come. She invited me to her city. I pressed the letter to my heart. Tears came to my eyes. She still loved me. I was not forgotten. I had never left my village before. I had never been on a train. My heart was full of feelings. I was happy. I was scared. What would the city be like? Would I get lost? Would people laugh at me? But my daughter wrote, "Mama, you taught me to be brave. Now it is your turn. Come see my world. Come see what your love built." I packed my small bag. I took my notebook. I wore my nicest scarf. I got on the train. The seats were soft. The window showed trees, rivers, roads. I held the letter in my hand. I remembered the nights I stayed up reading. The days I studied in silence. The hours I worked, cleaned, cooked, and still learned. Now, my daughter wanted me in her city. She had a home there. She had a life. And she wanted me to see it. I was not just visiting a place. I was visiting a dream. A dream that started long ago. When a girl whispered words from her daughter's school books. In the quiet of a kitchen. I was going to the city. Because my daughter invited me. Because love had come full circle. And I was ready. The train stopped. The doors opened. People stood up. They took their bags. I stood up too. My legs felt weak. My heart beat fast. I stepped onto the platform. The city was loud. So many people. So many lights. I looked around. Then I saw her. My daughter. She stood near the exit. She saw me. She smiled. She ran to me. She hugged me tight. I closed my eyes. "Mama," she said. "I missed you." "I missed you too," I whispered. She looked at me. "You look tired," she said. "A little," I smiled, but happy. We walked to her car. She drove through busy streets. Tall buildings passed by. Shops, buses, people everywhere. It was not like our village. She said, "Mama, this is my city." I nodded. "It's big," I said. We reached her street. She stopped the car. We got out. We entered her building. We took the stairs. Her apartment was small, but clean, and warm, and full of books. I saw a table. It was set for two. There was food, hot bread, tea, olives, cheese. She said, "I made this for you." I sat down. She poured the tea. We ate. We talked to each other and shared our news. She stood up. She walked to a drawer. She brought a wrapped book. She gave it to me. I opened it. It was heavy. The cover was blue. The title was written in gold. I read it slowly. The world through her eyes. I opened the first page. It said, "To my mother, who taught herself to read, and taught me how to live." I could not speak. My hands shook. My eyes were full. She looked at me. "Mama," she said, "this book is for you." Then, with sad eyes, she said, "I wish Dad were alive too. I wish I could thank him." I hugged her tightly and said, "I wish so too." Sometimes I sit alone and think. I think about my life. The quiet mornings. The busy nights. The long days full of work. The hard moments that made me cry. I remember being a young girl. A girl with big dreams. A girl who wanted to read. A girl who wanted to write her name. People told me, "It's too late." They said, "You are just a wife now." They laughed when I held a book. They said, "You will never understand." But I didn't stop. I kept going. I read little by little. I wrote slowly, one word at a time. Now, I can read letters. I can read signs. I can write my own stories. I think about all the women like me. Women with dreams. You are not alone. Maybe your life is hard. Women who are tired. Maybe people don't believe in you. Women who feel small. But you must believe in yourself. And I want to say this. You have a light inside you. You are not weak. You have power. You have a voice. So don't be afraid. Don't wait for the perfect day. Start now. Take one small step. Keep going. And always remember. Love makes us strong. Hope keeps us alive. And learning never ends.